Hello there and welcome back. So if you haven't watched part 1 of this video on topic 12, please make sure you view that. Okay? We left off that we were just about to talk about the minimum required width of exits. The minimum required width of exits according to the Ontario Building Code for a Part 3 building are based on two things. The bare minimum required by the building code. That's a geometric minimum so that a single human can make it through an exit. Okay? And the width of that exit is based on the actual number of people using that exit. So the exit capacity, if you will. So just to put this in perspective again, the bare minimum is based on the geometry of the exit, right? So that any one human can make it through safely, right? So if it's too tight, like you see in this image, you can't make it through. The second one is based on when everybody that's expected to use that exit tries to make it through. Is the exit wide enough? Now, is this looking familiar? If those two images are not looking familiar, you haven't done topic 11, pardon me, topic 11. So you want to go do that because a lot of that is covered there as well. Stop this video and go to topic 11. Okay, so the bare minimum required by code, that's the geometric minimum width of exits, are as follows, and they're covered under sentence 7 in article 3.4.3.2. I've listed them here. I don't remember them by heart. I don't expect you to remember them by heart, and in fact there is more on the next slide right here. But you must be able to find them so you can use the correct one for exits. And notice how they all relate to what kind of exit it is, whether it's a stair, ramp, corridor, hallway, doorway, and the occupancy. So if it's for patients, schools, hospitals, detention centers. Okay, so you have to know where to find this. I don't remember these by heart because I simply go find them, because every edition, every newest edition of the building code maybe is different. So if it changes, I just go find it. You must do the same. Okay, so if this is looking familiar in terms of the amounts and similarities, is because it's similar in how access to exits under section 3.3 was set up. So if you haven't done topic 11, now's the right time to stop and go do topic 11. Okay, the minimum width of exits that's based on capacity, that is when every person that's expected to be on that floor uses it, are based on this. And that is under sentence 3.4.3.2, 4 and 6, and under sentence 2 in article 3.4.3.1. You must know how to find these and how to use them. But basically, just like in topic 11, the rule of thumb is this. It's the width in millimeters of an exit is the number of people that's expected for that floor times a factor. And that factor comes from 3.4.3.2 sentence 1 and 2. Now, I'm listing them here, and you'll notice that these factors are in millimeters per person. Okay? And the numbers themselves look similar to the ones for topic 11, but they are different. So you have to use the right ones for exits if you're being asked to figure out the width of an exit. Okay? So in big terms, basically, sentence 1 deals with all occupancies. Sentence 2 deals with detention occupancies, so B occupancies. Okay? So make sure that you know how to find these. Okay? All right. And if they're looking familiar, it's because it's set up similarly, not identically, but similarly to how access to exits was in topic 11, which is in section 3.3. So if you haven't covered that, do so now, please. So let's do an example. I plucked this out from homework 7. Okay? And it's related to exits. We have a office building, some story in a 5-story office building. The stair risers are given to you as being 190 millimeters. This floor plan is 13 meters wide by, 13 meters long by 10 meters wide. There is a public corridor that I can see, and I see 2 exits. Okay, so according to the building code, for part 3 for this occupancy, given this number of stories and this stair riser height, the minimum exit width, geometric, right, so that a single human can get through safely, is 1,100 millimeters. Now we have to figure it out based also on the number of people of capacity. So what we have to do is figure out how many people are going to use this floor and then divide by the number of exits, because half the people will go to one exit, half the people will go to the other exit, if there are 2 exits. If there are 3 exits, makes sense, you divide by 3. If there are 4 exits, you divide by 4, right? Because you're assuming an equal number of people will go to each exit. That's why exits must be spaced at a very specific minimum or maximum distance. So in this case, the floor area is 13 meters by 10 meters, and the factor, right, for people occupancy comes from table 3.1.17.1, which is 9.3 meters squared per person. We do that, so we do the area divided by the factor, and that number we divide by 2 because we have 2 exits. We would divide by 3 if we had 3 exits, 4 if we had 4 exits, and so on. So in this case, I get 7 people. Do this calculation and see if you can get the same number. Don't forget, humans are whole numbers. You can't have part of a human, so when you calculate humans, number of people, you can't have a decimal number. It's always a whole number. So if you get a decimal, that means you're going above, right? 6.7 is actually 7 people. Okay, so the minimum stair width for this occupancy load, we have to take 7 people and multiply it by 9.2 millimeters per person. And that's because for this example from the homework, the requirements are met under 3.4.3.2 sentence 1 clause C. You must be able to do the same. That's why you're going to do the homework to get comfortable and familiar with this. That's why you're going through your building code right now as you're reading your course notes. Okay? You must be able to find all of this information. So when I do 7 times 9.2 millimeters per person, I get 65 millimeters. I rounded, just like I did in topic 11, to the nearest millimeter. Okay? Then I check this against the bare minimum, and I decide then between the two, between 1,100 millimeters and 65 millimeters, which one do I pick? Just like we did in topic 11, always the largest. So the minimum width of this exit is 1,100 millimeters. Let's do another one. Now, you might be thinking I'm going very quickly, but that's true only if you haven't done topic 11. Go do topic 11, okay? Then come back. Okay, again, I plucked this out of homework, number 7. We have an office building, and the floor area for this office building is 3,850 square meters. And you want to use exit stairs that are 1,100 millimeters wide. Risers are going to be in the stairs at 190 millimeters. You're at the planning stage. You're being asked, how many exit stairs would you require if you were, say, the developer or the architect? If you have an area of 3,850 square meters, office building, and you want each exit to be 1,100 millimeters wide. Okay, let's give this a try. It's kind of like the previous question, but backwards. Okay, so first of all, we have to figure out how many people are going to be using this space. And for that, table 3.1.17.1 comes to the rescue. So that tells us that for office, we have to use 9.3 meters squared per person. So if we take the area divided by this factor, we get 414 people. Again, humans are whole numbers. So then, based on this number of people, we already know what the minimum geometric width is going to be, but what is the minimum width for all exits? All exits based on the occupant load. And that comes from clause 3.4.3.21c. So that's 9.2 millimeters per person. Because we're expecting this whole floor to have 414 people, I multiplied the two to give me 3,809 millimeters. Okay? So this is the width of all the exits together. So if you put them all side by side, this would be the width. Okay? That's one big exit. But we're being told that we want each of our exits to be 1,100 millimeters. So how many times does 1,100 millimeters fit into 3,809? Well, we take one and divide it by the other, and we get that it's 3.46. Now, you can't have part of an exit, right? Because they have to be all 1,100 millimeters. So what this is saying is you actually need 4 exits. Okay? You can't have 3 exits, because 3 exits times 1,100 millimeters is less than 3,809 millimeters. Okay? So 4 exits is the minimum required. Okay, so now I want to take a moment for you to consider the following, okay, because this is important and will save you grief as a student in losing marks unnecessarily for a test or final exam, and it will save you grief as a professional when you trade your time for money and you want to look professional, okay? You don't want to make these rookie mistakes. So, we've covered section 3.3 under topic 11 and section 3.4 under topic 12, the current one. Okay? The current topic is exits. The previous topic is access to exits. But they're very similar, right? You notice how it has to do with geometry and number of people using a certain space and minimum distances and opening doors and that kind of thing. But if you're being asked to figure out something that relates not to an exit, it means that you're dealing with an access to exit. That means that the portion of the building code you're looking at is under section 3.3. So if you're writing down the reference for a factor in millimeters per person related to a corridor that's not an exit, and using 3.4 point something, you're wrong. You get 0 for the whole thing. Wow, that's bad as a student, but imagine you're doing that as a professional. Okay, you don't want to do that, and that's why I'm telling you. Another way to look at it is this. If you're dealing with calculating dimensions for an exit, because exit is under section 3.4 for part 3 buildings, all of your references must be under section 3.4. If your building code reference for anything related to an exit starts with 3.3 and stuff, you're wrong, because exits is only under section 3.4. So be careful about that, okay? Don't make mistakes in your tests with your references, and don't make mistakes in real life as a professional, okay? All right, I think it's time to almost wrap it up. The rest here is going to be rather quickly, covered very quickly, because most of this is in your course notes, and it's about you navigating the building code. Okay, headroom clearance in exit stairways. So I gave you this sketch in your course notes, but why do we have headroom clearances? Well, let me come and demonstrate this with a little goofy animated video. You see what's happening to this stormtrooper? Can you see that? The stormtrooper is banging their head because something is too low. It's an obstacle. So that's why you have minimum headroom clearance requirements, and they're different whether it's on a landing, on a stairway, or in a doorway, in a closure. Okay? So go find this information in the building code from your course notes. Okay, exits through lobbies. Well, first of all, what is a lobby? How do you find a definition of something in the building code? By now you know, and I'm proud of you for knowing how to do this. Go find what that is. But if you live in an apartment building, you know what a lobby is. It's kind of the entrance space, right, where the masses congregate to access a elevator, maybe, or a general stairway to go to your apartment. Well, the building code says that an exit in only one case doesn't have to lead directly outdoors if it leads into a lobby, and if that lobby is rated exactly as the exit is. Okay, so I've given you these sketches in your course notes. Make sure you review them and the relevant building code portions. Okay, stairs. All of this is provided to you for information purposes. So you want to make sure that you review this and that you're familiar with it. Okay. But again, I provided this for you. It's a graphical representation of what the building code says of the requirements of exit stairs. There are people that make their living on this kind of stuff. Okay? You may never, but you want to be aware of this. Okay? And that includes also risers, the number of landings that you have in a stairway, and so on and so forth. Okay? I provided a lot of these for your information. Handrails, okay? Lots of good stuff there. So all of this is in your course notes, including links and where to find this information in your building code. And I want to kind of wrap this up by letting you know that homework 7 and 8 are the ones that you want to use to review this. The nice thing about homework 7 and 8 is that they also include review questions. Okay, so homework 7 and 8 is a good one to do now, especially now that you finished test 1, to kind of review some of your topics previously covered. So I wish you luck with that. And that's kind of it. I want to thank you for your time, and make sure, before you continue, if you haven't yet, download your course notes to your device of choice. Okay? Thank you so much for your time. Now, if you're still sticking around, I would like to take a bit more of your time. We've finished with the topic, but there's a little more that I want to chat with you about that's unrelated to topic 12. So maybe let's get into a slightly more comfortable setting. Okay? Let's try something like this. Okay? All right. The future videos for the remaining topics in this course, so that's topics 13, 14, 15, 16. The ones that are going to be linked for you in your course notes and are actually already visible on YouTube, if you know where to find them in my channel, are you should be aware that they were actually recorded a number of months ago. So I recorded those videos before I knew you, my dear students. So you'll notice my hairstyle is different, and some of my attitude in terms of how am I addressing you, my students, is different, right? Some of the visuals will be different, and some of the nomenclature is different. So specifically, when I created these videos, I wasn't referring to our topics as topics, but rather as modules. So you'll notice that name and that word will be different. Instead of topics, I use the word modules. And instead of homework, I use the word worksheets. So be aware of that. That's why there's a discrepancy. Okay? Furthermore, there is a different way that I might have addressed those students, including, like I said, graphics and the start of the videos. Don't worry about it. The content is fine, and your course notes will still link to those videos. I just wanted you to be aware of it. Okay, I've taken up enough of your time. I want to thank you so much for taking this extra few minutes after the end of your video. Thank you for spending that time with me, and good luck. Take care. Bye.